Okay, so I'm back with part B of section 3.3, and what did we get? What's negative 8 plus 5? If you said negative 3, you are right. Did you draw it out? Got 8 negatives, 5 positives. Okay. These all go. And I'm left with 3 negatives. Or did you subtract and what's the sign? Well, we can see that there's more negatives, so our answer is negative 3. Okay, and again we did these in the last section, so that would just be, hopefully that's just a review for you. We're also going to put some numbers together. So what if I had 10 minus 11 minus 3? So this is a triple because there's 3 numbers, and I've got a positive 10, I've got a negative 11, and a negative 3. So you can either go left to right and do 10 plus a negative 11 or 10 minus 11, same thing, and then minus 3 from that. Or what I like to do is I like to put all my negatives together and do that first. I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to put all my negatives together. And I'll show you the other way too. So I'm going to put this together first. So that's negative 11 and negative 3. I'm just adding. Remember when I have a negative and a negative? I'm just going to add them together. If you want to put the plus in there, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So what's negative 11 and negative 3? It's negative 14. So this whole thing here becomes negative 14. So now I have 10 minus 14. And it looks just like the problem we did right here. So I've got a positive 10 and a negative 14. You can draw it out. You can subtract. 14 minus 10 is 4, and there's more negatives, so my final answer is negative 4. If I need to do that second part again, remember I want to take and subtract these 2, and I get 4, but I need to see what sign is going to go with my final answer. Well, I know I've got more negatives, so my answer is negative 4. Should I do another triple, or I could do a fourple or a quadruple? Let me do one with 4. Okay. So let's say I have negative 2 plus 12 minus 7 plus 3. Okay. So again, you can take it left to right. Add -2 and 12. Keep going, subtract 7. Keep going, add 3. But I like to put all my positives together. I'm going to try that again. See how you like it. So always look and see in front of the number. That will tell you what kind of sign it is. So it's a +12 and a +3. And if there's no sign in front, just assume it's positive. So +12 and +3 is just 12 plus 3, which is 15. So I've got 15 positives. And then I'm going to do the negatives. Here are my negatives. So I've got -2 minus 7, or if you want to put that plus in there, you can. But remember, when I have a negative in front of this number and a negative in front of the second number, that means I'm going to be adding them. So I've got a -2 and a -7, which gives me, I'm just adding 2 and 7 and putting a negative in front. So that gives me -9 or 9 negatives. Okay, so I have got 9 negatives and 15 positives. So I've reduced it down to 2 numbers. And again, you could draw it out, or you could subtract. And I'm just going to subtract. So I've got 15 minus 9, which is 6. And what sign is going to go with that? Well, there's more positives because 15 has more positives than the 9 has negatives. So this is my answer. +16. I'm sorry, +6. Holy moly, I'm losing it. Okay, so my answer is +6 because there's more positives. Okay, here's one from the homework that I thought was look kind of good. Okay, so I've got, remember PEMDAS, right? Let me put PEMDAS up here. We're going to be using PEMDAS. And so I'm going to do this, whatever's in the parentheses first, and I'm going to bring down this negative. Just going to bring down that negative. So what's 4 minus 8? Or what's 4 plus a -8? Well, when you subtract, what's 8 minus 4 is 4. And I have more negatives with the 8, so it's a -4. So I have a -4. I have a double negative. Then I'm going to bring this one down. What's 3 minus 7? Well, I've got a +3 and a -7. If we subtract, what's 7 minus 3? Well, that's 4. And there's more negatives with the 7. So it's, again, a -4. So I have a -4 and a -4. well, what happens when I have the double negative? Remember, if you want to go ahead and circle them, if that helps. Remember, whenever I have the double negative, it turns positive. So this is really just 4, and here's another double negative here. Here's another double negative, plus 4, which is just 8. So I've got a 4 plus 4, which is 8. Let me put that one in the calculator for you. Okay. So I'm just going to put it in as is, how it's written with the signs and with the parentheses. Okay. So I'm going to put a negative. Remember, the negative is back to our next door to the enter. And above the 8 and 9 are my parentheses. So I'm going to put parenthesis 4 minus 8, and above the 9 I'm going to close up the parenthesis. So that's the first part. So again, that's a negative in front of the parenthesis part. And then I'm going to do minus parenthesis 3 minus 7. Close it up above the 9. I'm going to hit enter. And I get positive 8, which is what I exactly got down here. So if it's a negative, put in your negative sign, which is next to the enter. If you're subtracting, like 4 minus 8, 3 minus 7, those are both negatives, and that's above the plus. I'm going to stop here, and I have evaluate to do and some translating from English to math. So I will be back with 3.3 Part C.